Hey Fragrance family, I'm Daver.
And I'm Cy.
And we're the Fragrance Bros. Come at you again with another review, this time for La Nuit La Intense. L'Intense?
L'Intense?
I don't really know. We'll just say La Intense, just to whatever, just for kicks. Of course, thank you for coming on, Cy. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. Glad you can have me again.
Yeah, of course. And I'll have a link down below to his channel. And Cy actually has a review of this, so if you'd like to go watch his review, you can go down below and check that out as well. All right, so let's get started. Date introduced is 2015. It's classified as an Oriental. Notes are iris, vanilla, tonka, patchouli, violet, and sage. Now, Cy, what did you get of longevity out of this?
The longevity was pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
It was only like between 4 and 5 hours max. Like 5 hours is where you're really pushing it. So
Yeah.
between 4 and 5 hours. So it's a little disappointing.
I got in the average range. I would say it was a little bit more than that on me. Somewhere between 6 and 8 was where it kind of hovered. But yeah, I thought it was going to be La Intense. We got fooled, Cy.
I know. What is with companies fooling us with this L'Intense and, parfum and all these words that really mean nothing?
Yeah, it really means nothing in this case. It was just average on me and even less on you. What about projection?
The projection was also pretty bad. It was really, really soft, actually. I think maybe within the first hour, it had whatever projection there was all within the first hour, after which it's completely a skin scent.
Yeah, I agree. It was not as good as I was hoping it to be.
Yeah.
In the first hour it was okay, and then it kind of trailed off really quickly. I asked my wife because I thought I could smell it, and I was like, "Can you smell this?" And she's like, "No." Season, I would say this is Vivaldi. All 4 seasons. I think this really could work.
Yeah.
Really any season. And day or night, I think. Purpose, I would say this works great for casual and work, but might be able to work in formal and date situations, depending. So, Cy, what does this remind you of?
Actually, you know what? It reminds me of a few colognes. The first one is, as soon as I spray this on, it has that L'Homme DNA in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's coming from, but there is that L'Homme DNA, but the scent is considerably different. Now, what it definitely reminds me of is the Dior Homme, the original.
Okay.
And I think it's because of that iris note that, both these share in common that kind of gives me that resemblance. Also, this reminds me of Aqua Fahrenheit from the House of Christian Dior.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe not too much that leather note, but I think it's that violet flower.
I can definitely see where you're going with this. I think, I really do get more of a L'Homme connection than a La Nuit connection.
Yeah.
When I saw the ingredients, I was actually kind of like, what is going on here? There's no cardamom.
I know.
Like, cardamom to me is the backbone of La Nuit. I think if you take away the cardamom, you don't really have La Nuit. Maybe it shares tonka, but I think that is the only note that it shares. I don't think there's really anything else in here that's a connection. I was a bit frustrated with this fragrance.
Oh, we all are.
Again, we've been through this 100 times already. We see something that says intense, extreme, whatever. You see all these different suffixes they put onto these fragrances that are coming out that are new, and you think, oh wow, okay, it's going to be different this time.
Yeah.
We're lying to ourselves at this point.
Yeah.
And we thought that with this as well. We're like, wow, it's going to be different. Nope. Yeah, it's different, all right. It's different in the fact that it doesn't smell anything like La Nuit. I do get what you're saying. It does kind of share something with L'Homme. And if they would have said L'Homme something something something, I could probably forgive it a little bit more. Overall, I think this is kind of just on the generic, boring side. And, L'Homme in general kind of is in that category already. Like, it is very much a people pleaser. It is in the kind of, what we call baloney cologne realm. But what it does well. And La Nuit does the same thing very well.
Yeah.
But this is kind of like, wow, how can we dumb down L'Homme?
I know. I think I would have to say, I thought L'Homme Libre was actually one of the worst flankers, in my personal opinion. But then this one completely takes that throne and runs away with it.
I agree. As for the smell itself, I do get what they're saying here. I do get some vanilla, and I get a lot of tonka. I do also get the violet leaf. And as you were pointing out, I do actually get iris, especially in the beginning. and the iris was noticeable, and it did kind of change the way the fragrance was kind of perceived at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it kind of shifts more towards the violet, I think, which I normally like violet, but in this, I think they didn't do a good job of it. What I think is kind of interesting about this reminds me a lot of Tom Ford Noir Extreme. And in that, I have a review of Tom Ford Noir Extreme. I'll have a link down below. You can go watch that. Really like that fragrance. I think what they did with that, they did it really well. And that one is a very likable fragrance. That, to me, smells like a grown-up La Nuit. The difference is there's a very noticeable cardamom note in there that smells great in that. It's also stronger and deeper, fuller, maybe a little bit sweeter. It's just better in every way. And this is like watered down. It's kind of thrown together. It doesn't remind me of La Nuit, unlike Tom Ford Noir Extreme. So it's kind of like this is referencing something that's referencing something else. I think another thing about this fragrance, this smells very unisex. And that's not a negative, but it's just different. I think women could wear this and be completely at home. I think there's very much kind of a shared sensibility between men and women on this fragrance. So I think I would like to know if women have tried this, because I think they could really rock it.
I agree with you on that, because one of my friends actually wore this the other day.
Okay.
And yeah, you know, it's a little different. It was a little different on her skin. It was a little bit more powdery. The iris was a little bit more dominant. And it did come across as a very soft, floral kind of a fragrance on her skin. And I can see that being like, you know, a perfectly unisex fragrance. And actually, you know what? I would say this is more of a feminine. Actually, YSL, if you're watching this review, please just make this a women's fragrance, because men are not interested in this, because this one really outright sucks.
Overall, I think this is probably not a terrible fragrance, in my opinion. It's not a good fragrance. You know, the apple has fallen so far from the tree from YSL and La Nuit. To me, this is just another sad admission that the fragrance industry is going in a direction that the fragrance community is not wanting it to go.
Yeah.
And that is just cranking out the flankers and making flankers that have nothing to do with the original one. They're basically making new fragrances under the guise of the popularity of old fragrances. And I really hate that. I really, really hate that. This is just a completely different fragrance from La Nuit. I think what everyone wants is they want the fragrance industry to make new fragrances. New, I say new, when I mean new IPs, new bottles, new versions. They don't want flankers of fragrances. They want completely new ideas. And we realize that that takes money. You know, we understand that that's going to take money to do that. But we want something new.
I know. And also, you know, even if they decide on making these, like, you know, side projects, so to say, do a good job, guys. Because, you know, go talk to Dior. Because I'm a big Dior fanboy, and I like it because they actually do a good job at, like, for example, take Fahrenheit, and then you had the Fahrenheit Le Parfum and Absolute. Both of them were just fantastic. Dior Homme Intense, and I do know that you don't like Dior Homme Parfum, but to me, Dior Homme Parfum is just fantastic. So I think Dior did it right. Yeah, so YSL, I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah. Now, what about compliments? Did you get many compliments when wearing this?
How about 0?
That's not a lot.
I know. So here's the thing. I was wearing this one time, and so one of the girls, and this was like as soon as I'd sprayed it on, right? One of the girls was like, "Are you wearing a cologne?" And I said yes. And she's like, "Okay." And then I was waiting for her to ask me what it is, or say, you know, just compliment me or whatever, and she never does. So I asked her back, "Hey, so what do you think about it?" And she says, "It smells good." And I was like, oh, wow, thank you.
She didn't want to tell you anything.
Yeah, I think, you know, when someone says it smells good, that, you know, in that tone where, good, that means I don't give a crap about your cologne.
Yeah, my wife almost had the exact same reaction. I asked her what she thought of it. She said, "It smells okay." And that's it. What's funny is everyone is exactly right. This is just okay. It's not good, you know. It's just barely passable as a pleasant fragrance. All right, so bang for buck. Let's talk about that real quick. I actually got it from Max 4T, which I'll link down below to his channel. He's a reviewer, and he also sells fragrances on the side. I got it from him for around the $75 mark, And I believe that it is about $100. So you might just want to look around. You know, we're talking about a fragrance that you're spending $75 for. You can buy just the original La Nuit for much less, or even the original L'Homme for much less, and have two fragrances that are much better than this.
Guys, I'm telling you, I have like 4 bottles of La Nuit de L'Homme, 4 bottles of L'Homme. That doesn't tell you anything. I don't know what will.
Also, too, I mean, we could talk about Tom Ford Noir Extreme, which is more than this. I think it's a little over $100 or something, but I think it's far better by comparison. So, Sai, final rating, what do you give this?
2.5.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5. There are going to be people that like this fragrance. It's pleasant in its own way. It's hard not to really compare this to La Nuit, and it's hard also not to be cynical when reviewing this, comparing this to other YSL fragrances. So take it how you will. I don't really like the fragrance as it stands. I don't really like the fragrance. But there are going to be people out there that are going to like it because it has a pleasant odor. You know?
Yeah, pleasant odor. Good way to put it.
It's not going to be a memorable fragrance. This is just another one of those intense fragrances that's just going to disappear. You know, they made a La Nuit parfum several years ago, and where is it now? We don't know. It's just gone. And they made this version, I think, trying to kind of get back into that market there that wants a stronger version of La Nuit, and this is going to fail. I can guarantee it's going to fail. It's depressing, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I hate that the fragrance industry is going that way.
Yeah, it's just like churning out a product to make a quick buck. No, it's not the way to do it.
So that's all we have on this cheerful review of La Nuit L'Entente. Let us know if you've tried it down in the comments down below. Do you like it, love it, hate it? Let us know. And of course, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. We'll love you for it. And I'll have a link down below to Sai's channel. You can go and check him out and subscribe to him as well. Thanks for coming on, Sai. Really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man. It's always my pleasure.
Oh yeah, always good to have you. And we have a couple more videos on the way in the future, so stay tuned for that. We'll see you next time. We're the Fragrance Brothers. Bye.